Hello, everyone, and we are now here with Jeremy Foster at the Future Foundation Global booth. Jeremy, thank you for joining us here in FFG at booth 1732.
No problem. No problem.
Jeremy, let me tell the audience about you. We are honored to welcome Jeremy Foster. He's a physical therapist assistant. He's a rural health advocate and an active APTA member. His career reflects deep commitment to patient care, interprofessional collaboration,
Yes.
and PTA leadership within the APTA. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Is there anything I didn't cover that you may want to share with our audience?
I can say I'm a loving father of two daughters.
Two daughters? Uh-huh.
And,
Anything particularly special about your home
yes,
situation?
And I'm married to a Filipina.
You don't say. A Filipino nurse?
I know. Very surprising.
Really?
Surprising. Yes. So I'd like to make that point there.
Yes.
And I'm an avid tennis player.
Avid tennis player, right? Well, thank you. So I wanted to ask you, for those who don't know, so now they know a little bit about your personal.
Yes.
I want to ask them about your professional interests, especially how you are very committed to rural and generalist practice. I believe in Mississippi.
Yes. So all across America, I thought that we were pretty rural, but then I talked to Alaska PTs and PTAs and talked to some PTs and PTAs in Colorado, where the nearest hospital is 100 miles away.
Wow.
That's a long way to go. We're losing people in these geographic areas, and so it's getting harder and harder with the industrialization of farming. You've got tractors that are taking care of thousands and thousands of acres, and we're losing that. We're losing the schools. We're losing the population, but there's still people there, and those people are aging and they need health care.
Right.
And so on the PT and PTA side, I encourage PTs when we go to their schools, come to the rural areas. Once you get there, it's so funny is that there's actually legislation that says that we're not on this list, but there's a campaign out there, and I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it offers $50,000 a year for PTs to come. Now PTs aren't on the list yet, but nurse practitioners, we've been fighting for this. This is something that APTA is working on. It's every year we're trying to push this to get this on this list, because there's a massive amount of money for rural healthcare and to promote it. And the problem is that we're not on the list to get that money.
Right.
And if we were, that could help us a lot. So I encourage all PTs and PTAs to look at your rural areas. Usually the pay is a little higher, but again, it's a little more limited in some of the things that you can do, and you have to be a generalist. It's very hard to specialize in a rural setting, because you're not going to get those types of patients. You're going to get whatever walks through the door, which I love. I really enjoy that.
So for our Filipino PT audience, sometimes what you see on YouTube and the videos is New York, LA, Chicago, right? And those are nice places.
Yes.
But there is really a lot of beauty, and there's a lot of potential in working in less populated areas that they might enjoy, and and there's more opportunities.
Correct. And I would say that I've been in the Philippines a few times. I've been to the villages, and I know that some PTs come from the villages.
Yes.
And so if you like the village life, and you come here and come to our rural areas, work in our rural areas, and you become part of the family. And so I don't think it'd be that much different, except we have aircon. We have a lot of aircon.
Aircon. Why does he know aircon? That's how you know she's married to a Filipina. What do you call the boxy thing you put food in to be cold?
I want to say bayan. So I don't know.
Balikbayan box, I guess.
Billy Bayan box.
Well done. You've been well trained. Okay, so for our next question, how do you feel as a PT assistant that in today's profession, how can you help facilitate having an effective collaboration between PTs and PTAs?
100%. This right here. Ben and I think, are a perfect example of a collaboration on a professional level. And something interesting is that Ben had told me, and he talked about that this wasn't he had some bad experience with PTAs, and we communicated. And he talked to me about seeing me and what the leadership roles that I've taken on at the APTA National, and he said, you've changed my views. And the big thing for me on collaboration is, and this is a worldwide issue. We'll talk about the United States, but it's worldwide. There's 8 billion people on the planet. There's 8 billion. And the World Physiotherapy, they did a study or whatever, and it said basically that about 2 billion people need physical therapy. But when you looked at the number of physical therapists, which I believe the last time I looked, it was like 270 million PTs. Well, so the mathematical equation is there to say that you need to collaborate a PT and a couple of PTAs, maybe even 3 PTAs. That is a beautiful thing. And because now physical therapy can be delivered. There's so many people in the world that need physical therapy that aren't receiving physical therapy.
I like to think of you guys as force multipliers.
Yes, force multipliers.
Oh my goodness, right?
I like that. Wow, you coined that. That's a.
Well, you taught me the other one, which I love, interventionists.
Yes,
that's what PTAs are.
We are, and the thing about it is that within the PTA world, there are people that work specifically with pelvic floor dysfunction, pediatrics, geriatrics, orthopedics. They've become quite good at it,
Mm-hmm.
And so having a PT to go ahead and get that evaluation done, identify the problem, and then send it to the interventionist, and keep that communication alive. So, and that's and then on the professional, on the promotion of the advocacy, there are so many things that PTAs can do on the advocacy side. We're not limited. Like in the past, we've had some limitations, and we've been knocking down barriers left and right, and right now, just last year, we passed within the House of Delegates. We passed a motion that said that a PTA could be on the board of directors, which that is huge. That's very big. And a neat side note to that is that for 10 years I've sat in the back of the gallery. That's where the PTAs were relegated for 10 years, or even more than that. That's just the 10 years I was there, and so I was in the back. So last year I was a delegate for the home health section, and I was in the front row. So that's the big change within APTA and the PTA.
So you're talking about like a professional growth arc, right?
Yes.
So my personal growth arc is, I think here's the issue here. A lot of Filipino PTs just don't even get the concept of PT assistants because there's no such thing in the Philippines, right? It's not a licensed profession.
Right.
But because of my exposure to you, I went from voting against giving them the vote. I said, no, this is the poor idea. Right. And now I am actively agitating towards getting involved. And that's what communication does. Yes. And that's what collaboration does. Sure. And that's what I love about what we're doing here. And in a way, that's what we're doing here at Future Foundation Global, is we're trying to invite the Filipino PTs to understand when you talk to all sorts of people of all sorts of backgrounds, of all sorts of professional licensees, good things happen.
Definitely, 100%. And one of the things I've wanted to do, and I've been trying to do, is I would love to visit some of the schools in the Philippines, just because of the fact that we have a large population of Filipino physical therapists, and I would love to be the person to integrate what it is to work with a PTA, because you will. When you come to the States, you're going to work with a PTA.
Filipino PT school deans, do you hear that? Do you hear that?
I'm here.
Jeremy Foster.
Now, let me just ask this question. Right. Now, I went to World Physiotherapy Congress, and I was sitting at a table, and I was sitting with Michael
Gabillo, the current president, or the immediate past president.
The immediate past president, and we had such a good conversation, and talking about how there was a huge element of Filipino trained physical therapists, and I kind of mentioned that a little bit with him, just kind of that I would be willing to go to the schools and have those collaborations, and talk about how it is to deal with the PTA.
So you hear it first. PTAs in the Philippines. We'll think about it. Okay. I guess a follow-up from to that is: are there any particular committees, councils, caucuses, or leadership pathways you especially encourage Filipino PTs or IPTs or PTA members to explore?
100%. I definitely encourage all physical therapists and physical therapist assistants, regardless of where you're trained. If you're working in the United States, get involved with APTA on the chapter level, because there's so much to be done on the chapter levels. And then, of course, on the national levels, you have 18 different sections. So you can sit on those boards. I sat on the Academy of Acute Care board for 6 years. And I'll tell you this about the Academy of Acute Care. They treated me as an equal. I was not a PTA on that board.
Yep.
I was someone with ideas, and it was
fellow member of the profession.
Yes, and
who cares and wants to make it better.
100%, and it felt really good too. And so that's one thing. The PT PAC is another. I was a PT PAC trustee for
Red Jackets.
Red Jackets, and so your money does go to a worthy cause, and it's apolitical, so it goes right down the middle of left and right, Republican, Democrat. So I encourage that, because so many people think that their APTA dues are covering that. They're not. Yeah, we can't do that. It's against the law for APTA to use any of our dues for political contributions.
Right.
So that's important.
Right.
And then, like I said, so get involved with the sections. If you work with kids, get in the pediatric section. If you work with geriatrics, get in the geriatric section. There's so much going on with APTA. And I put this out to all the naysayers, because there are a lot of naysayers on Facebook about what APTA has done, is doing, and I got to tell you, I've been involved with so many different areas. People are working here. This is a volunteer organization, and so I encourage any PT or PTA to get involved.
Thank you so much,
yes.
Jeremy. So thank you so much for giving that call to action. We are gonna do something fun to end this session.
All right.
If you were a Disney character who's a PTA, which one would you be?
Wow.
Because we are right here in Anaheim in Disneyland.
Well, I'm pretty goofy.
Oh, you're pretty goofy.
That would probably be me. I enjoy his lightheartedness, and so of all the Disney characters, that's probably my.
You got to be an optimist for movement, because folks are sometimes struggling, and 100%. You can't be a source of despair. You're the guy trying to get them moving,
exactly.
Right?
So I have a good PT friend that we've been PT friends for 25 years, and we worked together in the hospital system for a few years. Then he went to home health, and so I did a little bit of home health on the side, and he said that he talks to PTs and PTAs. Students that want to go into the profession, and he says he uses something that I told him, and that what I told him is that when you come to a patient's room or a patient's door, before you go in there, you leave all your problems behind.
That's right.
Because you're going to be absorbing a whole lot new problems, and whatever you got baggage, leave it out there.
Right.
If I can throw in a couple of things. One, if in these challenging times, if someone has a political view that is different than yours,
right,
leave it at the door. Because I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what your political affiliation is, you got the movement system. We all have that. And the same thing with religion, the same thing with everything. Loving your neighbor.
Your neighbor, man.
But leave your
pretty straightforward.
Leave your problems outside. And he says he tells that to the students, and it just made me feel good, because somebody told me that.
Right.
I'm not that smart. Somebody told me.
I think it's the power of CSMs. You learn from so many people. The networking piece.
Yes.
Now tell me, the Con Ed is great. It really makes you keep going, right?
100%.
But it's this person-to-person communication that works.
This is what it's about. And so leadership within the House, just the president and the board decided that the PTA council meeting would be held here. And the reason for that was for this. For collaborations with the PTs. And so this is the first year that it's actually happening. So we have a PTA council meeting. I represent the state of Mississippi, and there will be one PTA from every state, and there will be one PTA from every of the sections.
There you go.
So we sit around, we collaborate, we talk about the issues of the PTA. How can we make this profession better? Because that's the other thing. While we want to make the PTA better and we want to advance the PTA, we're about advancing physical therapy.
Right, that's right.
And you'll notice something that, during Capitol Hill Day in Washington, I've been there the last 5 or 6 years, I'm with my delegation.
There we go.
We go and we sit in front of our legislators. So it's not just being beside our therapist inside the clinic, we're beside our therapist outside.
Shout out to Holly Millau, New Jersey, our New Jersey PTA delegate. We are doing that thing. And the reason why we are very interested about it is because it is influencing me. Right? So we want to end the segment by thanking you.
Oh my goodness.
This is a Filipino-American
pin. Wow. That is awesome.
Plug.
I love that.
Right? Maybe a Filipino nurse who would appreciate that.
I know that. I know one, yes. That is awesome.
And this is a pin from the physical therapy from our group, Future Foundation Global.
Right.
So show it to people and let them know where'd you get that, and tell them there's a group of people who want to promote and help Filipino PTs feel welcome.
100%, 100%. And I gotta just throw this out there real quick, is that in my dealings with Filipinos and Filipinas, working with the nurses, when I first got here to Mississippi, I worked with about 15 different Filipino nurses, and I'm still in contact with them.
There you go.
Through the Facebook.
Very
and all
friendly
that.
people.
And there's an occupational therapist, Teresa Tan. If she's watching this, she'd be awesome.
Teresa, we're watching for you.
She's in Staten Island, New York. But anyway, what I find is compassion, and it's for the humankind. It's not. It doesn't matter the color of the skin. It doesn't matter the dialect. It doesn't it doesn't matter any of that. It's all about caring for others,
right?
And that's what I find the Filipinos do.
So thank you. So Jeremy appreciates the Filipino compassion. So once again, thank you, Jeremy, for joining us in the booth, and we'll see you around CSM.
Oh yes, you will.
Look for the friendly fella with a Filipino American flag on his badge.
That's
Thank you.
Thank you.
And right.
That's all.